Hi everybody, today we are going to talk about proportions. So first we're going to talk about ratios. So a ratio is a comparison of two quantities using division. So for example, if you are told that something has a ratio of 12 to 3, the way you can write it is like this, 12 over 3. That's one way you can represent a ratio. Or you can write it like this, 12 to 3. Either way represents a ratio. Now, a unit ratio is just a ratio that has a denominator of 1. So you essentially simplify it until your denominator becomes a 1. So a 12 to 3 ratio, well, we want something over 1, and we know that actually 12 divided by 3 is 4. So it's a 4 to 1 ratio, and we can also write it like this. So if the denominator is 1, we would call it a unit ratio. So it's just a special type of ratio. So let's practice working with ratios. This problem says there are 12 boys and 16 girls in Miss Ruddy's class. What is the ratio of boys to girls? So we can first start by writing 12 first and then 16 because it does say boys to girls. So boys will go on top and girls will go on the bottom. And then for a ratio, we're of course going to try to simplify it because it is just like a fraction. So I'm going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 4. So we have a 3 to 4 ratio, or we could say 3 to 4 in this way. So this is the ratio of boys to girls. All right, go ahead and pause the video and give this problem a try. Okay, so for this ratio, penguins will go on top and parrots will go on the bottom because it's the ratio of penguins to parrots. And this we can simplify. So first I divided by 9 over 9, and then you can actually simplify more. You can divide by 2 over 2. So the ratio is a 2 to 3 ratio. Okay, here, this problem says the ratio of the lengths of 3 sides of a triangle is 4 to 6 to 9, and its perimeter is 190. Find the lengths of the sides. So first, let's talk about what this word perimeter means. Perimeter is just the sum of all sides. So you essentially add up all of the sides of your figure, and that will be the perimeter. So what we have is a triangle, and it has a 4 to 6 to 9 ratio, but that's just the ratio. We don't actually know what the lengths are, so we'll say 4x, 6x, and 9x, because it might be a different version of that same ratio. So since the perimeter is 190, I can take up all 3 sides, 4x, 6x, and 9x, and I can set it equal to 190. And now all we have to do is solve. So we have 19x equals 190. So x will equal 10. Now they do want to know what the lengths of the sides are. So I'm going to have to go ahead and substitute x into all 3 sides. So the lengths of the sides, 4 times 10 is 40, 6 times 10 is 60, and 9 times 10 is 90. So those are the 3 lengths of the sides. All right, go ahead and pause the video and give this problem a try. Okay, so same idea. We can set up our equation saying 9x plus 8x plus 7x equals 144. So we can solve for x, and x should equal 6, and then we substitute it into each side to get 54, 42, and 48. Okay, here's a similar problem, except now it says the ratio of the measures of 3 angles of a triangle is 5 to 7 to 8. So that's just the relationship between the angles, but it doesn't actually tell us the angles. So it's essentially saying 5x, 7x, 8x. So for this problem, you have to remember that the three angles of a triangle always add up to 180 degrees. So that's how we can make our equation. So here we get 20x equals 180. So we get x equals 9. And then once again, that's just our x value, but they ask us to find the measure of each angle. So now I'm going to go and substitute my x values in to find each angle. So 5 times 9 is 45, so 45 degrees. 7 times 9 is 63. And 8 times 9 is 72. So those are the three angles. All right, go ahead and pause the video and give this problem a try. Okay, so your equation should say x plus 2x plus 7x equals 180. So solve for x, and then you substitute to find the three angle measurements. So 18 degrees, 36 degrees, and 126 degrees. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is what's called a proportion. So an equation stating that two ratios are equal is called a proportion. So if you have one ratio equal to another ratio, we call it a proportion. And we can solve proportions by cross multiplying. So here we're going to set up our own equations to solve for a proportion. So this says the ratio of nuts to raisins in trail mix is 2 to 3. If a bag of trail mix has 5 pounds of nuts, how much raisins are in the bag? So we need to start by setting up our ratio. So the ratio we're going to use is going to be nuts to raisins. So we have to make sure that the nuts number is on top and the raisins number is on bottom. So we have to say 2 to 3. Now, in the bag, they tell us that there are 5 pounds of nuts. So that number is going to go on top. And they want us to find how many raisins. So since it's a number we don't know, we call it x. We give it a variable. And now we can solve for x by cross multiplying. So we have 2 times x equals 3 times 5, and now we can solve. So 2x equals 15, and then we can divide by 2. So we get x equals 7.5 pounds, and we'll say pounds of raisins. There you go. All right, let's try one more together. This says the ratio of cats to dogs in a pet store is 3 to 5. So let's set up our ratio. Cats is going to be on top. Dogs is going to be on the bottom. So 3 to 5. And then it says if there are 20 dogs, now be careful because this number actually belongs on the bottom. How many cats are there? So our numerator is actually going to be x. Now we can cross multiply. 3 times 20 equals 5 times x. So 60 equals 5x, and x will equal 12. So then we can answer it completely. So there are going to be 12 cats. All right, go ahead and pause the video and give this last problem a try. Okay, so here the ratio of pencils to pens is 3 to 4. And then it says there are 12 pens, so that number goes on the bottom, and so you should put x on top. And if you cross multiply, you should get x equals 9, so 9 pencils. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.